James Gunn has said that Rocket Raccoon is the saddest character in the universe, which may be sad, but today we're going to be laughing at some of his misfortunes, specifically from the time he visited New York City and faced off against one of Spider-Man's greatest villains. In 2016, Rocket Raccoon was grounded and stuck on Earth after the Guardian ship was destroyed. He was all alone with no way of contacting anyone or leaving the planet, so he basically wandered around New York trying to find a way off-world, crossing paths with several heroes. I hope you enjoy this story with me. So anyways, let's go. We start off the story by following him walking through the streets. Rocket says some shit about hating this planet, and then we learn he's attracted to human women, trying to walk into a strip club or something, only to get kicked out. He thinks he sees Iron Man, but it's just one of those people who you can take a photo with, until he smells something coming out of a trash can. He dumpster dives in to retrieve an old pretzel. He then tries to give it to a homeless man who refuses to eat it, so Rocket eats it instead. He then goes on to rob a burger place to feed the homeless person. Because of this, the cops start tailing him. They follow him onto the subway, only for him to kick the shit out of all of them. More cops show up until the Human Torch comes, and then he takes Rocket back to his place. Later into the night, while Torch is asleep, Rocket uses his computer to find a way off the planet. This leads him to a weird bald motherfucker named Mr. Teeth, who's a Skrull. A guy comes in and beheads him, and we learn that aliens in New York are being hunted for sport. Rocket disposes of that guy, and then gets going. Spider-Man shows up for a bit, and Rocket is confused why there's more than one spider person. Rocket tries to take a gun, but Miles is like, nah. So they punch up for a bit, and Rocket bangs Miles' head on a pole and then dips. He wanders around the city more until Kraven the Hunter shows up and catches Rocket in a bag. The amazing Spider-Man villain that I was talking about earlier? Well, it's Kraven the Hunter. We learn Kraven is the one who's leading the whole alien sport hunting thing, and he has set his eyes on getting Rocket Raccoon in the story. Rocket and him fight for a bit, only for Rocket to slam a bookcase on his ass. Rocket then leaves, then gets hit by a bike, only to then get hit by a fucking van being drove by Kraven with a Kraven mural on the side. He gets thrown inside, but manages to crawl to the front, causing the van to flip and crash. Rocket then takes a second to catch his breath. I think this is the best part of the story. Rocket gets up, immediately surrounded by cops who are ready to shoot. He says he's an X-Man, so they all get ready to fire, until he says he's an Avenger, to which they're all okay with. Kraven then shows up, but before we move on, let me show you how this plays out. You think they hit this thing?
What is it?
I don't know, but it's dead now. Why do you people keep thinking I'm dead?
Whoa! Freeze, don't move!
I was attacked, tied up, kidnapped, and then got in this crash, and you're pointing your guns at me? Real solid work, fellas.
What are you?
I'm one of the X-Men. Avengers. I'm one of the Avengers.
Which one are you?
I'm Raccoon Man.
I've never heard of Raccoon Man.
There's a ton of weird ones nobody knows though, Mike. Like the forgotten one, Machine Man, Stingray.
Oh yeah, you remember Starfox? Oh, and Tigra?
Oh my god, that was real. Kidding. Yeah, those are all my teammates, the forgotten Stingray. Oh, he was just here, you missed him. Now, if you wouldn't mind helping an Avenger.
Stop him! Officers, that alien thing attacked me.
How is this guy not dead?
I knew you weren't an Avenger.
Really? You're gonna believe the guy wearing an animal's face and yoga pants over me?
You have your Avengers ID card?
After kicking the cop in the face, Rocket grabs their gun and runs. Him and Kraven get in a shootout for a minute until Rocket hops on the back of a taxi, promptly telling Kraven to fuck off. Kraven searches through the city for him until he finds him in a dumpster. But it's not really Rocket. The real Rocket driving a garbage truck fucking slams into Kraven. Rocket then tries to crush him inside the trash compactor, but Kraven cuts his way out with an adamantium blade. Rocket runs and jumps onto the Staten Island ferry. He feels safe until he sees Kraven steering a huge fucking tanker coming towards the ferry. It smashes into the ferry, blowing it up. The next thing we see, Rocket wakes up in the water, and then he swims onto land. He looks up and he sees the Statue of Liberty. He's on Ellis Island. Then he sees Kraven steering the ship again towards him. Kraven fucking smashes into the island. He smashes out the window, and then he jumps out, and then he starts to fight Rocket. Rocket is almost about to slit his throat until a bottle is thrown by a bystander, and it hits Kraven on the head, smashing. The guy who threw it said he was aiming for Rocket, however. The rest of the bystanders start throwing more trash. It all hits Kraven, so Rocket runs. He grabs a flare gun and shoots, causing the ship to explode. The Statue of Liberty breaks and it comes crashing down. S.H.I.E.L.D. then shows up and grabs Rocket. They throw him into an alien refugee camp. He thinks it sucks, so he goes around the camp grabbing stuff, and then he makes a fucking flamethrower. He uses it to break out, but it stops working and a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent sets off a flashbang. After Rocket can see again, he sees Kraven back again. again, but now he's beating up all the guards. He then helps Rocket escape, saying it wouldn't be a good hunt if he killed him while he's in jail. Kraven then leaves him and some aliens on the side of the road and drives off. Rocket later finds him in this apartment with a guy who's an alien. Kraven leaves, so Rocket breaks in and locks the alien in a closet. Rocket steals a teleporter and a gun from the alien. He shoots the guy in the foot, then burns his car and house because he's been giving Kraven the identities of aliens hiding in New York. Rocket and the group of aliens that escaped from prison with him are then standing in Central Park. They're ready to use the teleporter to get home. But just then, Kraven shows up again. So him and Rocket have a big old fight. It's a pretty sick fight. And then Rocket shoves a flashbang down Kraven's pants, burning his nuts. Kraven now defeated on his knees when Rocket asks Kraven if he should just kill him now or wait for the Avengers to show up. But just then, the Human Torch and the Inhumans show up. Blah. They're here and they have a spaceship. So they're able to take all the aliens and Rocket back to where they came from. The end. Now, this was my first Rocket Raccoon story, but honestly, I really loved it. The only reason that I read it is because I saw the panels of him with the cops on Twitter, and I just needed to read the whole thing. And frankly, I believe that if you enjoyed this video, you should definitely pick it up and read it for yourself, because I cut out maybe a good 80% of the story. There is so many more funny moments, and overall, the story in itself, really fantastic. I love the absurdity of comics. Anyways, thanks for watching. Better videos soon. Cheers.